Hello, I'm here starting a live stream. If anybody contacts me during my live stream, that's great. I started it out of the blue, so it's probably not been registered with anybody about me actually having it since it just started and not actually been focused on it being something that I planned for it to occur at this point in time. So it's occurring, and that's what I'm going to do. As I mentioned before, I want people to join my channel. If you can, that would be fantastic. Would help me out a lot to increase up my subscription list. If you can watch as much, that would be great also. On top of that, I'm really looking for people to comment on my videos. So if you can do that, that would be fantastic also. Script writing is not necessary. We will easy to be derailed. Okay, I am not going to get into that. I'm not really sure what he's talking about per se. I just want to get my stuff ready. General. Okay. Just telling the person I'm talking to. His name is Will505. He's on Discord, and I'll be talking to him about Flat Earth. Just waiting for him to pick up. I think it's a gentleman. His name is Will505, and I'm going to take that as William, which, okay, he's not answering. Not joining. Oh, there he is. If you can hear me, I think your mute is on because I see the mic icon. Okay, there you go. It's off now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I want to thank you for joining me in this conversation. It's very appreciated. Again, I'm going to be talking about the flat earth and reasons for believing in it and asking you about that. So I'm just going to start right off out the bat and start asking you questions. So my first question is, why do you believe or follow or are an advocate for the flat earth?
That's a great question. That is a great question. Well, I would like to say that it is in the Bible.
Okay.
It is what you can clearly see and observe.
Okay.
And every single culture around the world believed until recently that the earth was flat.
Okay. Thank you very much for that answer. My next question is, were you brought up to accept flat earth? Was it something that your family was involved with? Was it something that your parents exposed you to?
Nope.
No. So it's just something you caught as you got involved with as you got older.
Essentially.
Okay. Was there something in your life that was a stepping point for following flat earth? You did bring up some of the baseline indications, but I'm kind of wondering, was there something explicit, or was it something that said, hey, this only has...
You want to know what got my head rolling?
Excuse me?
You want to know what started my head rolling, as in...
Well, I'm just wondering if there's something specific, like there's all kinds of all kinds of claims for the for the flat Earth itself, and I'm kind of wondering, was there anything specific, like saying, like, some people say, okay, the horizon, the curvature, the light, all kinds of things are points of
Well, I'm born
validation.
and raised Christian, so
Excuse me?
I'm born and raised Christian.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing your question.
I'm a Christian, born and raised.
Okay, you're a Christian. Okay, so are you saying that was your stepping point, or something that brought you over? Like, my point is not so much
I
here.
suppose that was one of them.
Okay, so for you, it's religion. Okay, I'm okay with that. I'll leave it there. Was there anything that stood out as questionable that you had difficulty with, and flat Earth appeared to be the answer? And that's getting into the aspects of the globe-based claim and the explanations for that, or the claims related to that. Was there anything specifically in that arena that you had a lot of difficulty with, and you identified the fact that the flat Earth seemed to explain it better?
In what sense?
It's something along the lines of the curvature of the Earth is described as being 8 inches per mile. I'm going obviously with imperial as a explanation of the roundness of the Earth. I'm kind of wondering, would that be something like where you sat there and said, "Hey, that I can't get to understanding that. It doesn't make sense to me, and the flat Earth explains this, and it makes more sense to me." So I'm talking along the lines of that. Was it something?
You mean like calculating the curvature?
That's one of the claims of a globular Earth, and I'm kind of wondering, was there anything specific in any of those claims that you had a very difficult time with? That it was a flat Earth that was more
Well, I'd like to say that I live close enough to the mountains but far enough away from the mountains that I was able to calculate. And I discovered that if it was a globe, I should not be able to see them. And then there's also the claims that would be the illusion, but that is not the case.
Okay.
You go to the mountains and they look the exact same.
Okay. Okay. My next question, you may have already answered, but I'm going to ask it anyways. And it is, what explicit evidence do you have for a flat Earth?
Well,
you did mention just previously the aspects of the visualization. You said you can see mountains, and that gave you an indication that there was no specific, curvature to the Earth. Would you say that's a solid piece of evidence that you have?
yeah, I've done the math.
Okay.
And there's lots.
No,
I
I understand. I'm just trying to get the aspect of if there's something specifically that you feel is something that stands out, and that. But again, you just say a bunch of stuff, and I just gave you an example of what you said, and just trying to correlate that. That's something that you found very, very enticing. Okay, I'll ask you my next question. When you see a picture indicated to be from space, that's of the Earth, why is this difficult to believe?
You'll have to give an example. Which ones?
The Apollo missions to the moon, they had taken multiple images of the Earth, and the Earth is being shown obviously as a globe, and I'm wondering if you had seen those pictures, what would be your question marks about the validity of those pictures?
The ones from the moon themselves, the pictures taken on the moon, they're all photoshopped.
They're all photoshopped, okay. But you do. I'm just gonna. I don't want to debate you, but I'm just going to bring up a point that Photoshop did not exist back in the 1970s and 60s. So when those pictures were presented in the 1960s and 70s,
They've had older versions of it. They've been using techniques more older than that for a very long time. They worried about the skies and very old photos through the airships and in any buildings they didn't want you seeing to remove them from history.
Okay. So you're claiming the fact that the capability to modify the images was possible during that period of time.
It has been possible ever since the camera came.
Okay. The next question I'm going to ask is based on a statement that I saw from Mark Sargent. Do you know who Mark Sargent is?
I have heard of him.
Okay. Now, he's a big proponent for Flat Earth, and I've seen videos with him on it. And one of the videos I've seen, he described the sky as a projection. He actually said it was basically a cover, and that we see the sky as basically an image from a projection. And that it's actually not the sky. It's basically a visual presentation of the sky on a surface that it's being projected from. Do you believe in that also, or?
It really depends on what he would mean by that. I haven't followed his content.
Well, he said that the Earth actually is a constructed environment, and that everything here was something that was put together. And he said,
that part is true.
That part is true. Okay. One thing that I have difficulty in understanding is aspects of the sun and how it illuminates the Earth. Are you agreeable that the presentation of the Earth from a flat Earth doctrine is that it's a circular landmass? It has on the exterior of this landmass an ice field. This ice field contains the water, and that the sun basically rotates around the landmass and illuminates different parts of the landmass, and that's where day and light comes from. And the question I have is, how come if you have a light source on top of the landmass that it does not illuminate the entire landmass? How come it only illuminates one part of the landmass? Can you explain that?
Well, I don't. The ice wall is yet to be necessarily proven in my eyes, but the sun a spotlight for.
So you think it's like a spotlight that's basically a very concentrated, directed light?
Yes,
Okay.
There's day and night. Half of the Earth is in the daytime, half of the Earth is in the nighttime.
Right.
Roughly.
Yes.
The sun judges the day, the moon judges the night.
Okay.
Generally.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that answer. My next question is, are any of your friends followers of the flat earth?
Friends? Do you mean people I
Your
know in real life?
Well, anybody you know, but yeah, personal friends actually would be more concrete to my question. I want to know is the people you know personally, are they also followers of the flat earth? Are they not followers of the flat
Some, but
earth? Are some
not
of them are followers of the flat earth?
few.
A few? Do any of the ones that aren't, do they question you about why you believe in the flat earth?
Not unless I bring it up. Not unless I bring it up.
Okay, so it's basically a quiet topic that is not something that's discussed in the open, and if it's not brought up, then it's not discussed about.
Yeah, and there's also a difference between what you believe and what you say put in a test, or you like. Because I can talk and act like I believe the globe like any
Okay,
day,
okay,
but I don't believe it.
okay,
I can write everything out on a test and saying that this is how it is as the globe, but I don't believe that, right? You
okay.
understand?
Yes, yes.
I just listen through whatever they're gonna say about the globe, and I if it's in church, and I translate that to the Father Kamano.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, those are all the questions I have at this point in time. I want to thank you very much for participating and answering my questions. It was I'm very appreciative of that. And we can conclude things there. And again, I'll thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that's another advocate for the flat earth. That person seemed to be more oriented towards the religious aspects of a flat earth. Now, he didn't get over it, but I do know the aspects of the claim is usually based on the statements, or at least the verses in the Christian Bible, because I can't really speak, informatively about any other kind of Christian, or excuse me, any other kind of religion, because I'm really not sure exactly what other religions perceive or purport, or even, agree with the concept of a flat earth. But I know that in the Christian religion, they do talk about aspects of phrases that's in the Bible, the Christian Bible, that talk about, and I've said this before, it says, the four corners of the earth. And I think that's a perception that if there's four corners, then that technically must be something that's flat. You could probably argue that. You could sit there and say, why does a corner have to be on a flat surface? Couldn't it also be on a round surface? But again, I think that's what the flat earth people dictate as being reasoning for the earth being flat is the fact that it appears to be something that's declared in the Bible. And again, other people can discuss that and argue that. I'm just stating the fact that that's the things that I heard, and I know some flat earth proponents do actually accept that as a reason. Will, I'll go by his name, if that's his name. He did mention the aspects of curvature, and he did say sounded like he said he did experiments with respect to visually observing a mountain area and indicating the fact that the mountain was completely visible, and he indicated that it should not be completely visible. Now we can get into all the reasons of why it should be visible from a distance, but I wasn't going to discuss with him about that. As I've said multiple times, I'm not here to debate the flat earth people. I'm just here to ask questions, understand why they look and why they see things. But I'm thinking some of these things are just a means for the people who already have, let's say, talking from a religious perspective, a understanding, I guess, that the earth is a flat surface, and that they potentially be looking for actual other validation outside of the context of the religion for validation external to the Bible, the religion itself. And I think a lot of times that's probably what they get into is they see things and they make observations, they make conclusions, and they come to the determination of they come to a determination. Whether it be right or wrong, not going to get into that, but again, they come to that determination, and that's what they use as a validation for a flat earth. And I think that's everything that I can speak about Will 505 and his belief in the flat earth. So it was nice to hear his explanation. I haven't heard too many people actually indicate that, hey, it was religion as being a basis of their belief in it. But again, I'm getting the feeling I probably should hear more of that, because I think this is something along the lines with history-wise, that it's things that were brought up in an historical fashion through time that people wanted to have explanations for things, and this was an explanation, and then they found what was deemed as evidence in the religious Bible as proof of their claim. So we're going to see as things go through. I've been having discussions with a lot of people on Discord, a lot of discussions with people who somewhat are questioning my asking of the agreement of people to actually have a discussion with me. I think people don't feel comfortable and feel questionable about me actually doing it, but I want to let people know, if you do see these videos, that I'm hoping that it looks like I'm serious. But the fact is that I'm talking to these people and I'm talking to them about what they believe in. And some people said it seems like I'm not concerned about the flat earth. I'm not concerned about the flat earth, but I'm concerned about, people following that claim and the reasons for them following my claims. I think those are all completely valid reasons, as a discussion about the flat earth is, why would people actually believe in a flat earth? Can they actually explain why they believe in a flat earth? How did they come about believing in a flat earth? And as you can see in my discussions that I've had, that's somewhat what I've been trying to focus on. Okay, I'm going to leave things there. I'm going to want to thank people for listening to my video. And again, if you can subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel, that would be good. It would help me out a lot. Again, it would help me achieve the 1,000 subscriber requirement from YouTube. And if you can watch as much as possible my video content on YouTube, that would help me out also, because the secondary requirement is a 4,000 hours watch time. And that probably seems to be an extensive amount of watch time, but that's the requirement. And again, if you can watch as much as you can watch, that would be great. I'll leave things there, and I thank you very much again for watching my video.